Welcome to lesson 4 of the RainCap members area, choosing the right source of capital, or if you prefer, just figuring out what money I should go after to help fund my business. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics. I was a banker, a business banker, a commercial lender, and I'm often frustrated by the lack of clear and simple information about the whole spectrum of funding opportunities, because there's a lot out there, a lot of different ways to fund your business. And what we're hoping to put together here is that list, that training, so that you've got a clear understanding of all the different options available to you. So let's dive in. So the first thing is to note that the vast majority of businesses, especially that are just getting off the ground, are funded by the owner. They are self-funded, which means you have your own funds, you've got your own savings that you are, willing to tap into to invest in your growth and your own business. And most bankers, if you were going to go and get a loan, would expect some amount of that. They want to see that you have what they call skin in the game. It might also come not as in the form of savings, but also personal debt. So you take on personal debt through your credit cards. Some people use a home equity line of credit. I'm not making any recommendations here. I'm just telling you that this is the type of shape that self-funding might take. Next to self-funding, we've got friends and family, which we often think of as the same thing. This is just more money that we're not having to go to an institution to fund our business. These are people we know, but it is absolutely essential if you are going to reach out to friends and family, and sometimes they say fools, to invest in your company, that you know exactly what they want to have happen with that money. Is it a gift? If so, you need to have it down in writing somewhere, because you don't want to think it's a gift and then come find out later that they're wanting to get paid back. And if they do want to get paid back, which is absolutely fine, are they wanting it to get paid back by a certain time? In that case, it's really a loan to your business, and you need to write that out. There needs to be an agreement. And the other option is perhaps they're giving you the money and they're willing to just let you take it and run with it, but they would like to have a piece of the business. They are investing in your business, investing in your success. And if that's the case, again, it needs to be explicitly detailed. So don't just take money and because it's from someone you know, just call it good. Get clarity. The next one is bootstrapping. And bootstrapping is not just self-funding. Bootstrapping is actually something that happens within the business itself. And it's when you are able to get pre-orders or to get funds in advance of spending the money that you need to spend in order to develop the product or provide the service. You get paid in advance enough that you don't need extra additional funds to fund your operation. You're getting your money early enough in the cycle so that you don't need to rely on external sources of funds. Bootstrapping can be very challenging, a lot of work, a lot of cash flow management that can work in some industries, definitely better than in others. But when it does work, then you have all the control of your business. You have no debt. It is excellent when it can work, but it does take effort. The next is simply traditional debt. So when I say traditional debt, I'm referring to going to a bank, maybe a bank with an SBA guarantee. I consider that to be traditional debt, and that comes in two different forms, loans and lines of credit. We won't go into all the details here, but a loan is typically provided to buy a particular thing or to pay for a particular thing, and because you've bought or paid for that thing, you are going to generate revenue that'll pay back the loan. So loans and even lines of credit need to be tied to the way that they're going to get repaid. That's how a bank looks at it. And then there's loans, and then there's lines of credit. And lines of credit are for operations. And here's the thing to avoid with a line of credit. In the bank industry, we actually had a term, permadebt. And what permadebt was a line of credit that had been offered up to a business. They advanced everything on the line. So they used all of the available credit on that line, and now they were just making minimum payments. That's not how you want to use a line of credit. Whenever you actually use a line of credit, you want to know exactly how you're going to pay it back. So always revolving that line is really important. And then there's other type of debt or alternative debt. And this is where I would say we look at things like your local CDFI, which is Community Development Financial Institution, micro lenders, other types of lenders that are out there. They usually are more flexible and a little bit more expensive as a result. But there's a lot of debt. There's a lot of debt agencies, a lot of lenders out there. So if you go to the bank and you get turned down, don't think that's the end of it. The next line item here is leasing. So I plugged in leasing just to note that, especially for vehicles and large pieces of equipment, leasing can be an excellent option where you pay to utilize the equipment, and then at some point you're going to give it back. Okay, it's like renting. Renting and leasing are very similar. And then we get into equity options. So there's angel investors, which are people that have money, and this might be how one of your friends and family might participate, where they're actually giving you money so that you can run your business, but they are investing in it. They're becoming a partner of sorts. Whether they're silent or not depends on the angel. But that's what an angel investor is. They're private individuals who want to support a particular business. And then there is venture capital. Venture capital is usually in the form of institutions, and they usually invest in companies that are a little farther along. They're not brand new. They've got some traction, but they have the potential to grow very quickly. Venture capital is usually looking for high growth businesses, not local Main Street businesses. It's usually not a fit. But venture capital for the right business, business type, is an excellent opportunity, and it can help you grow. That's their job. They want you to grow so that they can get a great return for their investment in your business. The next item here is crowdfunding, and I've listed four different types of crowdfunding. There are four different categories. The first is rewards. This is companies like Kickstarter are reward-based. People put money, they contribute money to you, and once you're up and running, you send them your product, an example of your product, and you might send them something else or something more if they've contributed more, larger amounts. Then there's donation-based, which is like GoFundMe. There are some charitable crowdfunding programs. There's debt crowdfunding, which you don't hear a lot about, but there is debt crowdfunding, which allows you to go through the same process, and everybody who contributes is somebody that you will pay back. It's similar to, say, a Kiva. And then the last one here is equity-based crowdfunding, and that's what we've talked about already. We are partnered with Republic. They're an equity-based crowdfunding platform where people who contribute are actually investing in your company, and they might get paid back as an investor, as an equity partner, or they could get paid back through what's referred to as a revenue share loan. So they get paid back through a loan, but they are still equity crowdfunders. The next one is just a big bucket of alternative finance. So this could be, and these are usually more expensive, but you can go to just general online funders, people who, organizations that provide funds to businesses. Some of them are very, very well established, excellent companies. Organizations like Kabbage have a really good reputation. Others are truly predatory. So you have to be careful. You have to, look for ones that have good reputation if you're going to use an online funder. They often have greater flexibility than your local bank. But again, they're usually a little bit more expensive, and perhaps significantly more expensive as a result. Another alternative finance option is factoring. And this is where, rather than you trying to collect on your receivables, you've sent out an invoice, but they're not paying back. You can actually set up a factoring relationship with a third party. You send them all of your invoices. They will pay you for them. That's what factoring is. They pay you some amount less than's on the invoice, and then they receive. It's similar to collections, but it's done before collections are necessary. It's just a relationship. And the reason you might do that, you're thinking, well, why would I do that if I'm getting less money than the invoice amount? And the reason is timing. Sometimes the business needs to get money faster. That's more important than getting the entire amount. And that's where factoring can come in. It can be an excellent a solution for businesses in particular situations. I've also included here merchant cash advances. An acknowledgement that there are a lot of different ways and creative ways to get paid for money that is owed you. Similar to factoring, merchant cash advances are doing the same thing. They're paying you based on past experience. They're giving you money in advance. And then the last category here that I've included is grants. And I hesitated to include it at all because I don't want to give anybody false hope. Yes, there are grants out there, but grants are usually for very specific purposes. For example, here where I am in Oregon, we can get grants for example, on-the-job training. We can get grants for very specific purposes often related to employment. But if you just want a grant to help you get off the ground and run your business for general purposes, those are extremely difficult to find. It doesn't mean they don't exist. But I want you to be realistic and not expect that there is just a grant down the road that you just don't know about and nobody's telling you about this thing. We see grants listed as, in clickbait advertisements all the time online, but I'm here to tell you that they're not easy to find. The ones that are the most noticeable and broadest in scope can be incredibly competitive. So I'm not wanting you not to look for grants, but I just want you to be realistic about the opportunity. So these are the different types of funding that are available. As you can see, there are lots of different types that are better for different types of businesses in different stages. Hopefully from this, you're getting a sense of what is going to be best for you, and then reach out to us and we'd be happy to talk about your options and help you find the source of funding that is going to be best as you grow your business. So I hope you've gotten a lot out of this. I'll see you in lesson 5 next. Cheers.